I've just got home from watching Michael. There's no easy way. Like, I want to lie. I just want to lie. I just want to be because I know I'm gonna get hate. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I don't like. This is a movie I would walk out of. Oh my god, it was so bad.
So I've watched the Michael Jackson biopic 2 times now, and I thought it was amazing both times. But when I go to look at the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, there's a huge disparity between the audience score and the critic score. And it's got me thinking, can we really trust critics? Because if you was to look at the critic score and take it for face value, you think, this is not a movie I should watch. This movie's trash, and there's no point in me spending my own hard-earned money to go and watch this movie if it's only being rated 37% by the critics. Critics comes with a title. When you see the title critic, it's meant to mean a professional, someone who knows best, someone who studies film and understands what makes a good film and what makes a bad film. But in this particular case, in this particular movie, there's more to it than just good film, bad film. There's an emotion that's invoked in this movie, and it touches a lot of people outside of just being a good movie. You know what I'm saying?
And this is why you can't listen to critics when it comes to movies about us. They 100% lied about this Michael Jackson movie. They tried to tell us the new Michael Jackson movie was trash. They said it was missing too much. They said it didn't go deep enough. But what they not telling you is this movie actually shows the real foundation of Michael Jackson. From being a kid to signing with Motown and Berry Gordy to linking up with Quincy Jones, they showed the pressure. They showed the fear. They showed how his father controlled everything. And this is the part people missing. You actually see why Michael became Michael, why he felt alone, why he felt more connected with animals than people, why he built his own world. That wasn't random. That was trauma. This movie shows when he finally stood up to his father. The singing, flawless. The dancing, on point. Jafar Jackson, he didn't just look like Mike. He had the moves down pat. And yeah, they didn't show everything, but what they did show, they got that right. This movie reminded me of why Michael Jackson wasn't just a star. Why Michael Jackson was different. You ever hear the term out of sight, out of mind? You forget things when you don't see things. This movie right here made me remember how great Michael Jackson was. Made me remember how much I love Michael Jackson.
Maybe it was not a perfect film by any stretch of the imagination, but to not be able to understand why people would like it and then go online and say, no, it's trash, I'm not too sure about that. Another thing that's caught me off guard a little bit with some of these critic reviews are what they actually review the film on. What do I mean by this? I mean, some of them are reviewing the film based on what was not in the film. They're giving the film lower scores based on what was not included rather than what was actually in the film.
As of right now, the Michael movie is currently sitting at a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Earlier today, it was actually sitting at a 27, but a few more reviews came in and it bumped up a little bit. But if you actually click on those reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, you'll see something that is a clear indication of a smear campaign, because all of the negative reviews are consistently pointing out the fact that this movie glazed over allegations, skipped past controversy, and tried to paint Michael in a perfect light. But here's the thing. The studio was not trying to skate over allegations. In fact, the movie was supposed to release in 2024, but had to reshoot the entire third act because it addressed allegations that it legally could not address. So for you to have that information be public and then watch the movie and negatively review it because it didn't include the allegations is a clear sign that y'all are trying to make this movie flop. If you're a so-called certified film journalist or a official critic, shouldn't you know the history behind the person that the movie is featured? Because even if there was no third act that had to be reshot due to legal problems, you would know that if this movie stops during the bad era, specifically the bad tour in 1988, that is 5 years before the first allegations even came out. So how in the hell can you watch a movie that ends before the allegations came and then criticize the movie for not including allegations?
It only goes up to 1988, the end with him performing Bad in London. So everything after that is not covered, and it's rumored to be covered in part 2. They're going to be releasing a part 2 where they'll cover the rest of his life up into his death. Because we didn't see his death, so we know that the film is not finished. You know, every biopic ends with his death. This one, he didn't die. There's going to be a part 2. I think it's safe to assume there's going to be a part 2. But a lot of the critics' reviews, the people who reviewed it as a bad movie, they keep saying it was sanitized. They didn't include the allegations. They didn't include things that happened at the end of his life. Yo, separately though, just like the video and subscribe while you're there as well. Just 2 seconds and just quickly. Thank you very much. Love for that.
The new Michael Jackson biopic is bizarre. Michael is one of the most hotly anticipated films of the year and is by all accounts going to make an absolute fortune. But while in many respects it's a by-the-book biopic, in another it is completely bizarre because it leaves out half of the story, specifically the half you actually turned up to see. What it gives you is the rise to fame that defies all the odds, but what it's missing is the darkness that followed. This enormous ongoing controversy with its tangled, vying narratives and sky-high payoffs that culminated in one of the most notorious celebrity trials in memory about whether or not Jackson had committed child abuse. Now, I'm not saying the film has to say, yes, he did, but by ignoring it and essentially deleting it as they make a sequel, they've turned the whole exercise into a whitewash. The film is undeniably well made, the lead roles are brilliantly acted, the choreography is razor sharp, but the ethical chicanery here means I can't in good conscience give it a positive review. Its purpose seems to be to reassure superfans and convince Gen Z that this is the part of the Michael Jackson story that mattered. And it does matter, but the other stuff does too.
Of course they didn't include it. If you watch the movie, it cut off at 1988. The allegations didn't really start until 1994, 95 when he had his first court case. But that's not part of this movie. This has nothing to do with this first section of the movie, you know what I'm saying?
You think it is fair for movie critics whose jobs is to be movie critics, is fair that they are critiquing this movie based on things that are not included in this movie?
Sure.
Okay.
Anyone can critique a movie for any reason they want, to be fair. And
you don't think that's a little disingenuous? To be like, you didn't include this controversy into this biopic, so I'm giving you a worse rating. I find that a tad disingenuous.
I think it's slightly disingenuous to rank a movie based on what was not there and what you think should have been there, rather than ranking it based on what is actually in the movie. You know what I'm saying? I think this is just common sense. It feels like common sense, but common sense is not so common nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's not so common. When they are judging the film based on what was in there and what they think that they skipped out on, some of them seem to be misinformed. I've seen a lot of people saying the film wasn't great because they didn't include Janet Jackson. Well, yeah, Janet Jackson did not want to be in the movie. You know, it's only a small bit of research you need to do to fill in those type of gaps. Diana Ross as well. Like, people are like, well, she should have been in the movie. Well, they didn't want to be in it. So what can you do?
The complaints for this Michael movie is so unserious, bro. I forget what the critics say because they basically just wanted the movie to tell us that Michael was a PDF for the whole movie. There are a lot of critiques coming from people saying that they're mad that we didn't get more of Michael's brothers. Like, nigga, do you really think I give 2 butt cheeks about Jermaine Jackson, my nigga? Like, come on. Let's be for real. The movie is named Michael. The movie is about Michael, and I came to see Michael. People really mad at the movie because they didn't see Jermaine attempt a solo career. Like, nigga, please. And I don't know why people are complaining because the Jackson 5 story has already been told before. There's literally a mini-series called The Jacksons that was released in '92 that focuses on the Jacksons, not just Michael. Why do y'all want half the movie to focus on something that's already been told before? Like, you really gonna sit here and tell me you want more of a storyline of the rest of the Jacksons rather than Michael performing
Human nature!
Is the movie perfect? No. Everything has flaws. Nothing's perfect. There are some things that the movie either probably could have told better or could have included that would have made it just a little bit more accurate. But I don't understand why people want to focus on the things that either the movie legally couldn't include or just things that really wouldn't have made sense in adding to the movie. This movie was to strictly show how elite Michael was and how he was able to break away the chokehold his father had on him, and that's what it did. So just stop complaining and enjoy the movie that clearly everybody loved.
My only critique of the movie is that it wasn't long enough. I'm not gonna lie to you. The film ended and I was like, yo, like, where's the rest? Where's the rest? But besides that, I really enjoyed it personally. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I'll give my opinion on it. It was a good movie for me. I enjoyed it. I've watched it twice now, so, and I loved it both times. Another thing that people need to take into consideration, I think a lot of these critics are millennials or people who are above Gen Z in terms of generation, and they don't understand that a lot of us Gen Z, we didn't grow up, like, we didn't get to see Michael Jackson in his full glory. We only heard stories about him. We never got to watch him in concerts. I was 5 years old when he died. You understand? This is my first time of seeing Michael Jackson in his full glory. That's what it felt like, because it felt like Michael Jackson in his full glory. Jafar Jackson done a very good job. This is my first time being able to see him in his full glory on the big screen. I felt like I was really in a concert, and everyone knows his music, but this is like the first time we get to see it almost live, and it's exposing Gen Z to something that you lot had back in the day. You understand? And it feels like you lot don't really. A lot of millennials. Sorry, no, I'm not gonna call you lot. A lot of these millennials, they don't seem to understand that. Like, the film was trash because it didn't include this, and that. But there's extra emotions that are in this film that does make it good, which is why the audience score is so high, and then the critic score, them lot are worrying about things that are not in the movie. All this to say, I don't think you can really trust the critic score. When I see a critic score is low, if I'm being honest, it only makes me want to watch the movie more, because I know critics, they just want people to click on their reviews. Negativity sells more than positivity. So if they can be negative, they will be. I just don't think we can trust them. I think if you see a movie, forget all the reviews. If you really want to go and watch that movie, go watch it yourself and form your own opinion. I think gone are the days where we look at billboards and look to critics to be giving us the right answer whether a film is good or bad. Films are subjective. Your opinions are your own, and you should be able to form your own opinion and don't listen to the critics. That's what I'm saying. What do you think? Let me know. Do you think the Michael Jackson movie was bad? Do you think it was good? Have you watched it yet? Do you listen to critics' reviews? And do they actually sway your opinion before you watch the movie? Please let me know. I want to know. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Got more bangers coming out soon. Take care. Glory.